Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Left Off the Map. When I wrote my cookbook, my Mexican cookbook about 10 years ago, pho's or pho were on trend. So I did sort of a Mexican version of that, which ended up just becoming one of my favourite broths that I would make. So a Mexican broth that I would make. So I'm going to show you how to make that. Now, if you can get your hands on a good quality chorizo, which is what I've got here, you need it because that's where the base of the flavour for this dish comes from. So chorizo, fresh or dried, either or will work in this recipe. If it's dried though, you will have to mince it. So you want to chop this into chunks. We're going to pop it into a food processor and basically turn it into mince. If you had a fresh chorizo, you would just take the skin off the outside and it would be minced basically, and you would cook that off. We kind of add the same ingredients that you would add if you were making a curry paste. So lemongrass, I just want probably 4 or 5 centimeters worth of lemongrass. Take off the sort of the tough outer layers, and then just roughly chop that as well. About a 2 centimeter or a thumb size knob of ginger. Again, just a rough chop of that. Some chili, roughly chop that up. A couple of garlic cloves. Some coriander. Half a red onion or a couple of shallots. And a few cherry tomatoes as well. All right, so into our food processor. All of the fresh ingredients first. So our garlic, our chili, our ginger, our lemongrass, we're going to pop that in. Some palm sugar. In with that now, we'll add some palm sugar later as well. And a pinch of salt. We're going to blitz that first and then we'll add our chorizo. So once you've got that minced, the fresh, pop in your chorizo, same process. And now we've basically got a chorizo mince, which has then been pimped out and got huge amounts of flavour added to it from the extra ingredients that we added. So we need a pot to make our broth. There will be some fat in the chorizo itself, but I am going to add just a little bit of oil just to start the process. Not much, maybe just over a teaspoon. And then we'll scrape all of that into our pot and start cooking. The other real key ingredient to this is good quality stock, because that's where sort of a lot of the flavour of a broth comes from, the stock. I'm using Massel. I know where it's made. I know it's made here in Australia and I can vouch for. So if you want a good quality stock that you can season to your liking, then this is the way to go. The foam that's forming at the top, you can skim all that off so that your broth does clear up a little bit. If you want to add extra protein to this, you can. I'm going to put a little bit of chicken in there, which I'm going to slice really thinly so that it cooks quickly. Add in my chicken, let that cook for probably 5 to 10 minutes, and then turn it off, and then our noodles go in, and they'll just steep for 2 minutes before serving. I'm going to taste it now. I'm checking for acidity, sweetness, and salt. A little bit of lime juice, a little bit of acidity. And probably needs a little bit, just to balance out that, just a little bit of extra palm sugar. I like all those sort of chunky bits in there from the mince. I think it adds more texture and more body to the soup. But if you do want a clear broth, you can see how clear that is once you've taken off all of that, sort of the impurities and the scum off the top, which is sitting there. When you get to a rolling boil, that will all come to the top and sit in the middle. You just scoop that foam off and then dunk it into a little cup or a bowl of water to clean your spoon and go again. Start by getting like a big spoonful of your chicken and your noodles. Pop that in the middle of your bowl. You could, if you wanted to, you could just put your vermicelli noodles in that little block in the middle of the bowl and pour over the top. And then I'm going to add some more noodles to this. Then just spoon your broth over the top. What was based initially on a Vietnamese broth, I sort of turned into a Mexican broth by using that Mexican chorizo to add the base flavour and then building on top of that with all of my other favourite aromats really, or you can use Southeast Asian flavours, Mexican flavours if you want, and then a good quality stock to tie it all together. Sort of chicken noodle soup for the soul. And I love Mexican, so I sort of a little bit of a Mexican twist to go with it.